Hey everyone, it's Robin. I'm a psychic medium here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Do all my readings out of Enchanted Forest Reiki Center, and I'm so excited today to bring forward a good friend of mine, Gayla Malcolm. She's a psychic and Reiki therapist and so much more. She helped me go, like 4 or 5 years, has helped me come out of the psychic closet and has been a sounding board for me, which I really, really appreciate. Thank you, Gayla.
You're awesome, Robin. You're really awesome.
So with that being said, Gayla, I would like you to introduce yourself because again, I know you as a psychic, I know you as a Reiki therapist, and a palmistry also. I love, love, love,
Yeah.
because you're amazing with that. But tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do with modalities and where you work and
Okay.
some goodies, some goodies.
All right. Well, thank you for that introduction. I work out of Eclectic Reikiology. It's off of Lake Sahara's, which is right off of Sahara. And we have a little metaphysical center there that sells a little gift shop also. But I'm in there with my best friend, Jerry Lynn, and I have an office that I get to work out of, that's just mine, and it's pretty awesome. I am a Reiki master teacher, so I teach several different modalities, and I can teach, and I love teaching because the more you teach, the more it ingrains in within you, and the more you share your knowledge, the more you feel like you're waking up, the entire city versus, what you could do for yourself. And I know that it's helped me in such a great deal that I love it. But I'm also a practitioner, so I work with people with these energies, and I also am a psychic where I read cards, angel cards, tarot, oracle, all different kinds, runes. I do the tea readings and palmistry. And I think that the only thing that I'm really, really impressing on people is to empower themselves. When you come to me, I'm only opening doors for you to find ways of helping yourself. And it's up to you whether you're willing to do it. And so when you have that power for yourself, you realize that it's within, and it gives you so much more opportunities to see where you're at, where your energy's at, and where you can go with it.
Beautiful. And I also know that you hold classes on those topics as well.
I do.
So you share the knowledge within your sessions, but you also share it to the masses, which I really, really love about what you do, because you're not trying to hoard all the information like, no, you can't know this because it's my specialty. No, you don't. You want to make sure that, and I can kind of relate to that a little bit, but you really shine when you're sharing with others and helping them enlighten.
Yeah, I have such a thirst for knowledge, it's ridiculous. I mean, I can't tell you how much I do it on a daily basis, try to learn more things and open myself up to realizing that it's a never ending thing. You need to learn more and more and more. And with me being able to share it with others, it incorporates it and it helps me understand it better. And it's so strange because I swear I'll learn something and then someone will come to me specifically for that very reason. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's why I was learning that one. So, I'm not even kidding. I just love seeing people successful. I think that, teachers need to realize that, your students need to become better than you, then that makes you the teacher. When you inspire them to become their own and expand out, that in a sense is the greatest accomplishment you can possibly get. Like if you see them go with it, like I'll just have like a class on, for instance, a tree of life with these beads on it and things like that. And I had one lady that literally went with it, and she does it so well that she sells them on Etsy, and she's just incredible with them. And all I did was teach her the basics, but she went with it. You know what I mean? Like that's really where we need to be able to inspire people to be the best that they can be.
I totally agree with that. Oh, and that reminded me, you're also borderline an artist. I like to call, because you are so incredibly creative and you bring things to even the children. You do the paintings with the kids, and I'm not going to go too deep into that, but it's just amazing what a range that you inspire, from the children to the, middle age to the seniors. Like it just goes from every, all angles. And I really, really love that about you, because you're not shy in teaching anybody or inspiring anybody, and you're not too old to ever be inspired. That's the good thing.
No,
So,
and if you can make it possible for everybody to see how their artistic abilities are. I've had so many people tell me I don't have a lick of artistic ability, and I'm going, well, you don't have to when you're in my class, because all I'm going to do is instruct you to follow what I'm asking you to do, and you're going to be amazed at what your abilities are. I think that the only thing stopping you is yourself and the labels you put on yourself. But our whole family is kind of artistic in their own ways, and it just runs in the family. And I love using my hands. I love creation time, like when you find things to be creative with, and it's just so much fun. And to see others laugh with it and have fun with it, and to see what they're capable of, even when they think that they're not, they really are.
mhm.
And so I think that that's just it, is that you have to find the things that you think you're not because someone told you weren't, or something like that, and opening the doors to realizing that you can be anything you want if you put yourself into it and challenge yourself.
And that's how a lot of kids, they say, oh, I took social studies for this long, or I took math for this long, and it took that one teacher to inspire them. And now they're either a mathematician or they're a historian, or and they
That's
just,
so true.
they took off with that just because of that one individual. And that's the true teacher. And that's what you deliver to our community here in Las Vegas. And I love that. But I'm going to steal something really quick from you.
Uh-huh.
You said everybody in your family is creative, like you have a hand in everything kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that segues into your palmistry readings.
Yes.
I mean, you literally have a hand in everything.
I really do, yeah. Oh, man.
They're so
It
accurate.
really, yeah. Well, you know what it is I swear to you that when I started researching palmistry, it was like opening up a memory of something that I had already learned. And it came to me so easily, and I understand it so well. And it's like scientific, like there's no doubt about it. It's written in your hand. And not only that, is that you have one hand that's constantly changing, and it's amazing to see the change when you put the intention of the change inside of it, and to follow that path, or to make that path, to steer that path at what potential you may have. I mean, and it just really shows you what energy you're in at this very moment, and that it also empowers you to realize you don't have to stay in that energy. You can change it. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it, because it can be just down to the basic things of where your lines are written, and about your love life, how open you are, or how stubborn you are, or whether you've been hurt so much, or whether you're not trusting, or things like that. It's amazing to see where the energy is. And if someone told you that, then and also told you that you had the ability to change that within yourself and to open yourself up, and you could see the lines change. And that to me is so amazing.
And that part there is new to me. I did not realize you can change how
Yeah.
it's written. I know your hand changes, one of them changes.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was because of how our life went, and how, we made decisions to take us down a path. So that's how our hand kind of, they say finger.
And it is, and in essence it is, but we have the ability to decide beforehand where we want it to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've actually witnessed it several times where, I mean, I didn't read someone's hand for almost 3 months. And then when we compared what was going on, I mean, and they literally changed their path. They went to a whole different career. They went and did this, and you could actually see the lines adjusting. And that's amazing to me. It's so amazing. And that's another thing, is that you really don't want to read someone really under 18 years old, because there's so much potential, and they're growing, they're literally becoming, that you want to see where they're going to go. You don't want to influence them in that way.
No,
And
absolutely.
yeah. And so I wouldn't even do too much even of the astrology or anything like that, even though sometimes people get read at the beginning and kind of know where their potentials are. I certainly wouldn't want to influence anyone too much in a situation where they still have that full potential of who they're becoming instead of someone telling them who they should be. I really love the idea that once you get old enough and you decide where you want to go, it's your decision.
Yes.
You know?
I like that. Definitely like that. I was going to say to you, which is kind of interesting because you and I are very similar in regards to logic. And here we are in the middle of a very spiritual and unknown metaphysical world. Okay, so we're accepting of one side, but we've gone through a lot of processes to already prove, that there's no logical answer, or if there is a logical answer, how to break it down. We don't try to mold the logical answer. It either is or isn't, and then we take it to the other side. And a lot of it's because of our experiences ourselves, like seeing is believing.
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah, we're just hitting the first phase where we're opening back up and we get to go back to work and do these things. But I've always been kind of a rule bender anyways, but I do follow rules as long as it's like if they ask me to wear a mask inside of a store, I'm going to wear a mask or whatever. But I really feel like there's a potential that I don't know if you knew about anything about Howard Hughes, but he was a germophobia. He didn't want to shake anybody's hand, and he was so afraid and all this other stuff. And he literally became sicker easier because he didn't expose himself to those germs. And when you really think about it, when we're closing off and not opening ourselves up, we're literally having potential to actually get sicker easier because we're not exposing ourselves and becoming immune to them. So it's easier for us to go to places and expose ourselves at a little at a time to defense, have that defense out. So when we don't, we are now lower in immune. So for me, I really think that you need to put yourself out a little bit, and you need to walk out in the sun a lot because, the vitamins that you get from vitamin D and the heat. Especially this virus doesn't even like the heat. So that's why they were telling you to drink tea all the time, drink hot tea all the time, and things like that. So for me, I really think that there's some truth to it. And there is some things that you need to be aware of, like washing your hands a lot more, or, things like that. Or every time you touch something and you touched it, then wait to touch your face before you wash, and then wash your hands and things like that. Just being more aware. But I think that the fear behind it is something so dangerous because you're lowering yourself into such a deep vibration of that feeling of anxiety, of stress, of not, of fear. And if you put yourself back up into a higher vibration of what can I do with this day and how can I make it better? And I actually organized, some of the stuff in my office and it felt so good. I organized my closet upstairs and it felt so good. Just prime opportunities of doing things that I was, putting off and things like that. I have tried very hard to stay in a positive format. And, of course I have seen less people than I have in a long time. And it's really hard because I'm a huggy, loving type of person that likes that contact. And so it's driving me nuts not to have that. But I do honor people. I understand that, if they don't want me to hug them, that's fine. I understand.
And I'm totally the opposite. I've done absolutely nothing. And my days haven't changed a whole lot. And if we go back, or when we go back, and I believe it's tomorrow, Saturday, we go back in phase 1 with certain conditions in place. That 6 feet rule, I would not be, offended if they kept that in place forever. That's my bubble. Well, and that's the only reason I say that. It's not because people are bad or people, are ooey gooey or whatever, but it's because I suck up their energies really quick. And all of a sudden I can't breathe inside. You know what I mean? I get claustrophobic, and it's almost as if now I'm standing in quicksand. The more people, the closer they get, I'm in quicksand and I can't get out. And it's not that I'm mentally doing it. All of a sudden I realize it's happening. So being a psychic medium, I also pull in their loved ones. So I've got them, their energy, their anxieties, stresses, happiness, joy, and then their loved ones all coming in. Yeah. So, and it's a little bit more challenging for me.
Yeah, that's funny because Well, and see, I guess I'm kind of a little the same, except that I love people's energy. I love stepping into their aura and feeling it. I love feeling their energetic pull. I can actually feel when someone's in pain. I can feel when someone's sad. I can feel when someone's stressed. I mean, I walk in a room and I know if some argument was happening or if something's going wrong or something like that. I have a very sensitive thing like that. But I'm also one of those people that I pride myself into changing the energy, raising it. The second I walk in the door, it's like, hello, just, and I've had people look at me like, oh gosh, how can she be so happy? And it's a choice. I literally choose to be in that vibration. I want to be in that vibration. And when I get really serious, you don't like it.
But it's also work to stay in that vibration. And a lot of people don't want to put the work in. They don't want to work towards, they would rather just sit back and be miserable than work at being happy. Because once you do it, just like anything else, if you're going to the gym, the first time you go, it's like, oh my God, I'm never going back. Oh my God.
So true.
And a year later, once you've committed to it, it's so much easier to go in and do those same reps. And then you've increased it more. And now you've got your energy coming back. Well, that's what it's like working at being, keeping yourself happy.
And it's honestly, I really understand that. That's exactly the thing. But now I've exercised enough to where I feel uncomfortable when I have to be that serious mode of, okay, stand back, don't get in my bubble, that kind of a person where I love the energies and I want to keep it up. And so it's so funny that we find that. I actually have a couple of friends that are more standoffish and feel very comfortable with it. I have one friend that it was the hardest time to even get her to hug me. It was like she just wasn't that type of a person. And I was like, I had to work with her a while to get hugged. I mean, I'm actually at that point where we feel comfortable hugging, but it's so funny to, and she's a Taurus. And so it's funny. She's very earthy. She's a really good mom, but it's so funny because I am that type of a person. And so I think that sometimes I mean, like my husband is like so opposite of me. He's a homebody and he doesn't have to impress people and he's happy with what he's doing and things like that. And it's so funny because I guess it's not that I really feel like I have to have people like me. I just want them to. I want them to feel comfortable with me and I love the honesty behind things, but I want you to do it in a certain tactic to where you're not going to hurt my feelings. Well, my husband would hurt your feelings and go, deal with it. So it's funny that we actually attract people that we're not,
Mm-hmm.
They balance us a little, I think.
Well, it's the yin and the yang happening.
Yeah.
And it's important to be balanced.
Yeah.
And I don't mean yin and yang literally, because there's a lot more depth to that, but I just mean how it's energetically one piece fits the other. And we don't realize where we lack in things because we're a very narcissistic, society. We're me. We got people out there hoarding toilet paper for the next 50 years and saying, screw you. It's like, oh no. So
I still don't understand that.
I don't either, because it's not going to save you. But at the same time, I'm going to step back. Before I go into that story, and I probably won't even talk on that story, but what I wanted to do, Gayla, is I wanted to ask you about your healing modalities.
Okay.
All right. So I know you are a Reiki master teacher, but I also know that you have other modalities that you are certified in and you teach and heal. So how would you, let me ask you this. How would you apply that, one of those modalities or all of those modalities, into somebody who's going through the emotional or stress or the anxiety, the turmoil associated with what's going on today? Because that's an important part of healing.
Absolutely. And I am so blessed to have more than one modality because when someone comes to me, you can talk to them for a few minutes and ask them what's going on, and you'll actually have a certain energy that comes through. And you're like, oh, well, they've heard about Reiki and they're very open to it. But then you go, well, I've been trained in a few other things. If there's another energy that's coming in, would you mind if I open that up and work with you with that energy some? I'll stick with the energy you asked for, but you know, every once in a while there might be something that calls in. So like my root of my working with people and the practitioners were definitely Reiki, right? And it's a really good, strong foundation. But then I advanced up to the Karuna, which you have to be a master for 6 months to apply to yourself to that class. And it's very vibrational, and it's opening yourself to the vibrations through the tonality and chanting. And
Wait, hey, Gayla. So
that's
for the clients or the people that are watching this, can you explain what Karuna is? Because a lot of people wouldn't have an idea what it is.
yeah, Karuna is Reiki, you know, but it's an extension of Reiki, and you're doing it through vibration, tones, and chanting. And you have 8 more symbols that you learn through it, and it's a very loving and harmonizing, and it helps balance emotions a really great deal. And so sometimes that'll come through where I'll feel that energy that you need to be pulled on and open yourself up to some kind of blockages that you might be in or imbalances. And so I'll call on that energy. And I've had, you know, total sessions where I'm just doing the Karuna, and it's like basically chanting, singing, or toning all the way through it. And it's pretty amazing that you can do that for, you know, as long as you do. But then I'm also attuned to SSR, which is Sikkim Reiki, which is an Egyptian healing. And I swear to you that is like asking you to sew your pieces together, missing pieces that you lost throughout your traumatic times, or things that you might have forgotten, or things that you put aside that you are not dealing with. And it comes in and literally stitches you back together and makes you feel a whole lot more complete. And I love that energy, and it's so ancient. And I love to find out more and more things about what Egypt used to do with their, and you know, it's really about getting right with yourself enough to where you would feel that if you died tomorrow, you would be good, that you wouldn't have any regrets and things like that. So it's pretty amazing. And that you would be able to entitle yourself to be able to come back, or, you know, it's making sure that your life purpose was completed at this point, and that's pretty amazing. But I even am teaching Seraphim Blueprint, and that is an angelic healing that is attuning you to different vibrations from a galactic space of the angelic world. And I also love working with archangels and spirit guides and things like that. But my favorite, I swear to you, is the Huna in the shamanism that we do. I've learned a little bit of the Native American shamanism, but the Huna is the Hawaiian shamanism. And I'm telling you that it has taken me places far beyond I've ever been, in more of a psychic awareness of your potential, of opening yourselves to those 6 senses and bringing in all the elements, your spirituality, your subconscious, and realizing that the different bodies and the energies that are in you and where they're stored and what may be happening to you through those energies. It's amazing. And dealing with your own psyche, being able to forgive yourself, being able to acknowledge that it's all within you, to own it, to recognize that it's my perception of things, and that I need to heal that within me. Especially if you start judging things, you have to wonder, why am I judging that? Where did I come up with that belief? And then healing it within, and trying to understand within yourself how you truly feel about it and why, and then understanding it, and then sending it with love, and it empowers you. But that's exactly what I try to do, no matter whether we are reading using our tools through cards and things like pendulums or tuning forks or singing bowls or whatever we're trying to do in that, using our tools, or if we're using just straight energy to heal it. All of it is coincidentally helping you in both directions. It helps you with your mind, your emotions, your body, and your spiritualism. Like, you really need to know what you believe in, where you stand. You need to have a conviction of what do I believe in, and where do I, and why. that kind of a thing. And if you don't believe in anything, there's a question why you don't believe in anything either. You need to question yourself over that too. You know, I mean, I love trying to open people to the potential of being able to see that you don't have to live in a box of what you've learned so far. You can expand and learn for so much more through every modal out there, through every culture out there. There's someone offering you something in a new lesson. So you need to be open to learn.
So if, let's say, I was John or Joe or Mary, who was going through some, or Robin, who was going through some emotional stresses because of, should I be afraid of what's going on now? I've been locked at home. I haven't had outside companionship with anybody. I feel like I'm going into a depression. I'm spiraling. What kind of modality would you say would people benefit from, and why?
I would do it in a couple steps. One step, we could find out where your energy is and where is it heading. You know, what was the root of the energy and what caused it? Well, a lot of it is whether we lost our jobs, where we aren't being able to pay our bills, whether, you know, we got stuck in a place where you really found out more about the person you lived with than you ever knew before, because you were now literally stuck with them. And so now that we have that root of where it was kind of from, and maybe it's a combination of more than one, we can go in with a therapy of realizing that you have the potential to going in and asking your subconscious to basically wrap them up and understand all these anxieties, all these stresses, all these fears, all these stress points and things that are happening to us. You can put them basically in an awareness and you don't even have to really image the actual event, just telling your subconscious that you want to wrap them up, you want to, you know, bring them in, and you can go into a kind of a meditational point of view and literally getting permission from that subconscious and asking your higher conscious to come in and remove those stresses. And through that meditative course that I would walk you through, you would literally be able to adjust and release yourself from those energies because you gave yourself permission to do it. And then there's another one that you can forgive yourself for things. I mean, nobody's perfect, and we've all done things that we've kind of regretted it or wish we could have done it in a different way. And we have to get up past that and realize that that in itself was the lesson. And in order to master things, you have to make mistakes. You have to be able to be willing to start over anew and try it again a different way and things like that. But we also have a therapy where it's called Ho'oponopono, and it's literally getting into yourself and acknowledging where your viewpoints are, where your judgments of yourself are, and asking for forgiveness and being appreciative and thankful for the lessons, and understanding that, you know, even if it was a disease or some kind of ailment, it might have helped you in some way to understand yourself better, or to come out of an awareness of how important life is no matter what. And then to actually send it love and be in gratitude for it. And it is such a healing process, but there's a meditation for that too.
Where did you just go?
I
just
know.
lost you.
Stop. I don't know. Just a minute. I'm so sorry. Good night. There was something on my screen and I was trying to clear it, and so it totally messed us up.
You cleared it all right.
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm so funny. Sorry.
That's okay. So one thing I wanted to ask you also was, is that something, these modalities, is this something you can do online, or do you have to come in person? Because there's some people that are extremely depressed or very fearful, you know, whether we have a reason to be fearful or not. I mean, that's completely not the point. It's just, it's developed over this time, what, 7 weeks, 8 weeks now, and people start going into their shell. Is this, the modalities you're talking about, are those something that you can help them through online, through like Zoom or, you know, whatever process you use personally?
Yeah, in fact, I've done it several times now throughout this shutdown. I've you know, people have contacted me through via, whether it was Messenger, FaceTime, or Zoom and things like that, and we've gone through sessions. Because this energy that we have is not, it doesn't know time and dispensation, and it doesn't know that you don't have to touch people. You literally can be removed from the situation. And that person, like I helped someone in California the other day, and another person in Alabama and Oklahoma, and there's not a problem with not receiving the energy, because you're going to receive it with that intention no matter what it is, and it goes to you, and you'll be amazed how it works. And I even have done card readings over the phone, and one thing I probably wouldn't be able to do is palmistry. I mean, I don't see your palm.
I can see it now. Can you read my palm?
I couldn't really do the tea reading as accurately. I mean, because I'd be reading what I got out of my tea, the teas, even if it was an intention through you and things like that. I would rather read them from what you've done with the tea, and things like that. So there are limitations to some of the things that I can do. But yeah, as far as the modals, a lot of the modals, you wouldn't have to be in person, and you definitely can do them online. And even the classes, like I've taught tarot and things like that through online. It's just, you would have to have your own deck of cards so that you could, you look at the picture yourself, so it would be easier for you to see them, so be able to practice with the layouts and things like that. But I would be sending you the material you would be working with and things like that. So yeah, there's nothing really stopping us but ourselves and our own limitations that we put out there. So I guess in a way, I could maybe even do a handprint with you, because you could put it on an ink page on a paper, and I would probably be able to read it that way if you send it to me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there is even that possibility that you could do. I know that you do several things online that I've been really impressed with on classes and things too, I've seen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be doing mentorships for mediumship, which I have not posted yet. I'm also going to teach people how to manage people are empaths, and it just depends on what degree you are. I think everybody's born naturally as an empath. And so many places decide that they want to teach you how to shield yourself and protect yourself. But like you were saying earlier, how much you love to step into people's energy. Okay. Well, that's how you do psychometry, and which is, holding an object and getting the energy off of the object. It could be a deceased person, a living person, whichever. And there's a story to be told sometimes. So I'm going to be teaching people how to use their empath abilities, not necessarily to shut them down and block it off and we're going to, so yeah, I'm doing a couple things online, tarot circle and mediumship circle, and they're all practice circles. So they're for like a tiny amount of money. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm finally bringing it out online. I didn't know you were watching that.
That's awesome. I know. Yeah. But I'm the same thing as far as I think that we're allowed to have like up to 10 people anyway. So we might start up with our Reiki circles and stuff like that again, and be able to have the in-person classes and things at our establishment, and just do it with in the safety of sitting 6 feet apart from each other and things like that. So I'm so glad that that's working, because I love working with people in person and stuff like that. Even though I am very capable of working through the online and I'm willing to do it, I really do love that aspect of being able to feel your energy and just, the presence in the room with you.
Like, oh my God, I'm boring her today. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't run into that yet either, so I'm thankful about that. But the other thing is teaching for me, even as much as I kind of resist it, somewhere inside of me used to be a teacher. I don't know why it comes out naturally for me. And when I'm in even the 4-hour classes, everybody's like, I want more, I want more, I want more. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, really? Because I don't view myself as a teacher. But apparently, it goes over like I swear I was a teacher in a past life, and maybe I just didn't want to be a teacher in this one. But I still do it. Yeah, and I still do it.
Yeah, I love teaching, because sharing my knowledge is such an awesome thing to be able to say. hey, do you know, or, this kind of thing. Like I actually just am finishing up a course that I did with a lady that we actually had 8 hours of tarot. So we did it in 8 days,
Wow.
and so we did it like every 4 days or something like that. And I never ran out of things to teach her. And I mean, literally could still go on telling her about it. Tarot is amazing. And there's so many ways and facets to go at it. There's so much to learn that you have to be the one willing to open your mind and a concept of where it is, whether it's numerology, whether it's the astrology, whether it's the colors and the feelings behind it, the symbolism, the whole 9 yards of the energy behind it, whether we're talking about a person coming in, or whether you're describing an accurate time and event, or whether it's from the past, or whether it's coming in the future, or whether it's all these things. It's just, you never run out of things to talk about. And there's just so much of an expanse to it. And I found that with astrology. I'm finding that with numerology. I'm finding that with so many different subjects. Like there's just, if you open yourself up, there's so much more to learn. Even with the palmistry, I mean, there's probably so many different ways that you can go at it and read from it, from a different culture who read it a different way. It's, if you open yourself up and willingly open yourself to learning more about it, there's so much potential. There's so much potential. And I think we're all teachers. You may not feel the most comfortable doing it, but if you just open yourself and explain what you learned, that in itself is teaching. If you can explain what you learned, you are now the teacher. And it's amazing, because then it opens up your own acknowledgement that you comprehend it. If you can explain it, you comprehend it. Do you know what I mean? And so you almost need to challenge people to, okay, tell me what you learned today. Tell me what we went over. And honestly, it'll help them remember it better. It'll help them soak it in and be able to reach it out of the archive of the brain and be able to use it as a tool.
And for me, it's like a light switch goes off. All of a sudden I walk in there dreading, like, oh my God, did I really schedule this? And then as soon as I get in there, I introduce myself and we get started, it's like a light switch goes off, and all of a sudden I'm a whole different person, and everything's going great, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yeah, and then you'll find also that, I mean, like with me, this is the way spirit was with me. I'm literally that logical person, so I go in thinking I'm going to teach. I have it all written out, and I have it all laid out the way I'm going to do it, and then I surrender to spirit, and spirit changes it all up, and it always goes a different way than what I planned, but it was exactly what that class needed to hear. And so it was like, I'm so funny that I do it every time, though. I always plan ahead. I always prepare. I always have the layout, and it never happens the way I think it's going to happen. It always, whatever energy's in the room changes it up, and that's exactly what they needed to do. But on the same token, I feel more secure and safe knowing that I at least prepared.
You have a backup plan
to fall back on, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what I do. Is sometimes I'll write stuff out for that purpose, and that way, if nothing comes forward, that one time that nothing comes out, or I trip over myself somehow, then I have that backup plan. But thankfully, I don't have to use it too much, and I don't think I've ever used it in a class.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could have. I mean, if I stepped in my way and thought I needed to do it this way, I could stand up and do exactly what I prepared to do. But it wouldn't feel as right as when surrendering to it and allowing spirit to come in and just go with the flow of the energy and whatever this class needs, And I love, because I've never not had one class that the students didn't teach me something. Do you know what I mean? Like I walked away knowing more than, because they were able to share with me, something. Sometimes you walk in and you're thinking you're going to be teaching them, and you end up finding out so much from them.
And they still think you're the teacher because you're hosting it.
Yeah,
but
it's great.
The good thing is when we surrender to spirit, and I know this is going to sound crazy for some of the viewers watching this, but when we surrender, it's not about us. We let go of our ego. It's about what, like you said a minute ago, what the students needed to hear.
Exactly.
So we remove ourselves of our preconceived ideas, let spirit flow through, and then they get to hear what they need to hear in order to learn it, because everybody will hear it differently at that point.
Yeah, no. And I swear to you that since I've learned, even with that energy of, when I told you about the karuna, you literally at first think, I mean, and when I walked into it, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're asking me to sing and I'm not that great of a singer and all this, you know, like you have these head things in your head thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this, I'm kind of shy or whatever. But when you grasp it and you literally open yourself up to it and surrender to the energy, what comes out of your tonalities, the tones, the chants, the music isn't even coming from you anymore. It's coming from spirit, and it's exactly the tone and the vibration that person needs. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I mean, like you stand in awe of realizing that that didn't come from you, that came from, you know, the spirit of the universe of saying, okay, you allowed me to help, you know, help this person. And it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I've almost been to tears with the energy of it. It's like, because I know that that's not with me. I mean, I've tried to sing in the shower and things like that. My own voice is something else, but I mean, I do really try to tell you that I can truly appreciate when you truly surrender to it and allow source to come through you and be that vessel for that other person. It's such an honor, such an honor.
And I've actually
humble
witnessed,
you.
I've witnessed you do this, because we were in a tandem. Well, it wasn't tandem like a traditional tandem. It was a Reiki shamanic thing, and you were doing
right.
And I was just like, oh my God, she can sing. Like, where's this coming from? I've never heard Gayla like this before. And it was like real music, like real stuff happening there. And I'm thinking, oh my God, thank God it wasn't me that was doing that. And so you're right. It's amazing when you let go of yourself, what comes out.
Yeah, and I couldn't even try to imitate it afterwards. I'm telling you that it's not me, that it's spirit. It's like, because I've tried. I'm gonna like show someone what I was doing and I couldn't do it.
I can relate to that.
You know, and even sometimes, have you ever noticed that you start reading for someone, like with even on your tarot or you know, something like that, and you won't remember what you said? Like they'll come back and say, okay, you said this and this to me, and then you're like, yeah, but that wasn't me really talking.
Every time.
Really remember what I said. Sorry.
Every single time, whether it is tarot or psychic or mediumship, I do not recall it. And it could be from, I just did a bunch of readings online to 5 minutes from then, and it's gone. I call it psychic amnesia. And if I held on to that, just imagine all those things and the loved ones coming through, or the tarot readings and stuff. If I memorized or remembered that, my head would implode. Like,
No, and then there was a few times where I'd beat myself up over it, like, oh, I really wish I would have remembered that for them or whatever. But you know what? That really isn't for you to carry with you, anyways. You in a way, you need to, you know, cut the ties of that, anyways. That's for them. That was for them. That wasn't for you. You shouldn't have to willingly ponder everything and think about it all the time, because that's not for you. It was for them. And there are times where I'll even be reading, and I swear to you that the words that are coming out of my mouth are words that I need to be hearing. And that's another reason why I know that this isn't coming from me, because that's not what I was thinking about this whole subject before, about myself. And when it comes out with these words of advice, you're going, oh my gosh, I need to be adhering and listening to this myself. You know, that you realize that it's from a higher source of knowledge that's coming in with inspiration and thoughts and advice that are not from you.
And that's why you got that client.
Exactly.
Yep, and that's what happens. Literally, I can relate to that one with, I'm like literally telling the client, oh my God, I think this is a double reading. I'm getting a reading while I'm talking to you. And then the other one I get is after, like, let's say I had pulled somebody through, or and I was delivering messages, and for some reason one of my messages was off. And it's not severe enough, because I don't have any access to the clients after that. Sometimes the way they're set up over at Enchanted Forest Reiki, I can't just say, hey, you know that one thing I told you, I need to elaborate a little bit more. I can't do that. So it'll ring in my head over and over and cycle. And I'm just like, oh my God, what do I do with this? And what it is, it's a lesson for me to learn how to interpret something new. It's like added to my dictionary. Like you could have done this to supplement that. So I don't know if you get the same thing where that one thing is just nagging, like you feel like you got to get a hold of the person, but you can't anyway, and the universe knows you can't. So it's definitely meant for you.
Oh my gosh, no, I'm telling you, I know exactly what you're saying. Also, even like, you know, when you're first learning to do attunements on someone or something like that, and you're going through the order of it, and then you all of a sudden you realize that you skipped something. And so you're thinking in your mind, oh my gosh, do I need to go back and do the whole thing over again? You know what I mean? Or something like that. And you don't really realize that it's spirit's really the one doing all of it. All you're doing is going through emotion, and that they're getting exactly what they need, and the spirit is actually doing what it needs to do. Verbatim of what it's doing. All you're doing is going through the motions of it, and you have to trust that everything that is needed will be done, and it'll be correct. And so even so, there's now new attunements through William Rand on the Reiki level 3, that I'm only on the Holy Fire, the original one where it was first, and now there's like 2 more levels of it to expansion, and they're doing the attunements where their people are not even putting their hands on you to do the attunements. That is all spiritually led, and I'm still doing the ones where I lay the hands on people and do the attunements that way. But I'm not saying that they're wrong. I mean, that's exactly it. You're surrendering and letting the spirit move through you, and you know that that's all through it. But I really love the hands-on thing. I love going through the motions. I like it. And so that's just part of me, of what I hold on to, that I feel like, you know, that's my calling. But I'm not saying anybody else is doing it wrong. And I do believe that the spirit works through, the spirit, and the source knows what it's doing no matter what. And you have to surrender to that you don't have to be the one in control. And you have to realize that no matter what, whether you forgot this one procedure, or you didn't say it right, or you twisted it, or you did it backwards or anything, that is maybe exactly what that person needed, you know? And so you also have to have the faith of believing in the source itself, and knowing what it's doing and how it's doing it right. And taking your ego away from it, right?
So that's where I contradict myself, is when I'm in a session, you would think I wouldn't want to touch anybody. And the city of Las Vegas does not allow me to touch anybody under the conditions of my psychic license. So I lost the ability to touch people. However, when I do Reiki or a Seraphim or anything else that I work with, because I also have a few modalities that I work with, I feel like I have to touch the person. You know, the person who likes the 6 feet away I have to, it's almost like there's something different in the touch for some reason for me. And I don't know what it is, but I feel guided to touch.
Well, and you know what the difference between, oh gosh.
She will be back. Oh, no problem.
That's the problem with doing this. This is the problem of doing this with online, right?
Yes, it is.
With your phone.
Yes.
Yeah. So regardless, there's a difference between touching and the difference of, it's okay. So like, I don't manipulate anybody's skin or whatever. So the touch I would do would be someone reaching out their hand and basically holding my hand and shaking it, or patting somebody on their shoulder, or things like that. I mean, mine is very, very limited. Most of the time I'm hovering, you know what I mean? But the touch would be a very light, and it would stay very long, and it would be, you know, like, that's it, that's over. But I'm not a massage therapist in any way. I do not manipulate or, you know, do any kind of skin or muscular thing that is anyway. I'm working with energy, and we're moving it, and so the energy is maybe healing you physically, but it's not through manipulation of your hands and you know, using your own muscles to do it. Not
Right.
at all.
You're barely even touching, let alone.
Yeah. So in a way, I don't do that kind of Reiki either. As far as I know, that there are massage therapists that are Reiki people, practitioners that can do that massage, but I don't do that either. And I mean, that's amazing, and I'm glad that they're able to do that, and I would like more of them to be able to do it, because, you know, some people really love massages, but yeah, I'm not invasive and intrusive or anything like that on someone. And I have no problem not touching them at all if they want to have a cup, you know, like if they didn't want to shake my hand, they don't have to shake my hand. They don't have to hug
Exactly.
me. They don't, you know, that's totally up to them. And I appreciate that. I honor that.
And one of the differences between them and us is they've got their massage license, or they're allowed to get away with it.
Right.
But
Well,
we,
and even with attunements, you don't even have to touch someone with the attunements, as far as you could just basically doing the hovering over their heads or over their hands or something like that. So there's no, there does not ever have to be that kind of massage kind of label to it.
yeah, they just, it's interesting how you go from one person to the next person and they'll look at what you wrote down differently, and they kind of tagged, oh, because you're an entertainer. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not an entertainer. But they listed me under the psychic arts as an entertainer. And
Well, yeah, and I in a way, I mean, I even have the wording where I have people sign it that, you know, it's like, please don't take my words as biblical of something you have to do. What you need to do is empower yourself for realizing that it's just advice and it's nothing that you can't walk away with. It is kind of for an entertainment, you know, thing. I'm not going to tell you how to live or what to do. It's up to you. And all I am doing is opening other avenues or ways of looking at a different way, another course that you could take and move you out of the energy that you're in, you know. But that, again, is your choice. If you want to stay in that energy, then stay in it. It's up to you.
Well, that's the one flag that I call out to everybody. If a psychic tells you exactly what to do, run. Because
and the other thing is, when they tell you they can heal you, it's not the truth. You're healing yourself. It's your willingness to open yourself up and remove and let go of things that are bothering you, and bringing in the energy of love and light and accepting them and surrendering to it. But it's not the facilitator, the person that is doing it. For all she is a conduit of opening a door of energy and letting it in. So she's just bringing in the energy. She's not really healing you. It's source healing you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you know, you have to explain that from the get-go of the sessions is I'm empowering you to help you. You got to realize it's coming from you and source. All I'm doing is making you aware.
Yeah, and sometimes people don't open up. When you start working on them, it'll bounce back. I can feel the energy come back, like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, it shouldn't be bouncing back. It's that they're trying to resist it. I don't know if it's on purpose or subconsciously, but somewhere around them, they're resisting the energy. So I'm thinking to myself, whenever I get that, I always have a little mini talk with them and a little meditation to walk them through really quick, just to kind of relax. Because it could just be that they're stressed out, that they just drove, 20 miles in traffic to get there. Something that simple. But people can resist the energy too. I mean, it's not that we force it upon you. We open the door, and if you're willing to accept it, then you accept it.
Oh no, I totally get that too. I mean, I've literally been there, done that, where I've actually went into a lady and paid her for a psychic reading and been so stubborn that I didn't open myself up. I was resistant. It was my fault that she couldn't read me, because I had this, like I walked in with an attitude of, like, it was so ridiculous, because I was not willing to really listen, and yet I'm willing to pay this person, but there was a stubbornness in me that wasn't open to it. I was a skeptic.
But you weren't a non-believer.
Yeah, and it was so funny because there was another part of me that really wanted it, but there was, it's just so funny to even, when you actually experience yourself, to realize what people might be experiencing through you when they come to you. It's because they have that mentality of this is taboo, this is not something they were supposed to be doing, or you really can't help me, or these, whatever is stuck in their brain might be what's hindering them. So yeah, I think that you need to go with someone that you have a resonance with, of feeling like that you can open yourself with them, that a trust in them. You might not have a rapport with a certain person. You need to find a person that you would have that rapport, that trust. But yeah, you want to make sure that that you're not getting swindled into something that they think that they can solve for you. What you really need is someone that will empower you to solve it.
Exactly. And one of my favorite things is and they'll book a reading with me for 30 minutes. They'll come in there, they'll sit like this. Nope, just tell me what I need to hear. Then like, okay, so let me see what's coming forward, right? So I'll tap in, do my thing. After 30 minutes, well, okay, it's been 30 minutes. Well, thank you for coming in. Oh, wait. I just booked 30 minutes just to see if you were legitimate or not. Can I stay longer? Like, I'm sorry, I have your client behind you. You know, it's like they're literally coming in to test you to see if you're legitimate before they pay more money. So they're paying money to test you.
Yeah, but and honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it. I actually understand where they're coming from. I do need to have a certain trust with people. There needs to be a certain resonance. I really want to make sure that you are, you know, who I think that I can trust. And that, so if they're willing to pay that 30 minutes to just test me, then, and I don't have time to make it longer, then they'll need to come back, because it's like, honestly, I don't blame you. I understand, because I've walked into doctors that I didn't have a good rapport with. I mean, and here it's your health. I think you need to be able to trust that doctor.
Absolutely.
And enough to where I feel like they care enough to help me, to not just put a Band-Aid on it, but to literally try to find a way to conquer and cure, you know? And so, yeah, I get it. I don't have any whatsoever resentment for people that want to test me. And even if they don't like me, they don't have to like me, and they can go somewhere else and find somebody else, because I don't have to be the one that helps them. You know, if you don't have a good rapport with me, then by all means go find someone that you do, and that's okay.
And a lot of people who don't, that's the other downside of things. Those people that don't, thankfully, you know, everyone said, oh yeah, I did this and I was only testing you, and it was a positive experience for me. But there's also people out there that are, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I literally, it's like the universe just said, let me take that from you. You're not going to talk about that. I'm just like, wait, I'm not done with it.
That's hilarious.
Wow. Literally, that is, isn't it? I've had that happen to me about 4 times when I've been online. Like, Spirit just comes in and says, no, you're just not going to say it. I'm like, no, but I wanted to.
That's too funny. Right. Well, let's get back to the point of the excitement over the fact that we are now able to work with people again, and that we're open to it. And yeah, if you want to call instead of come in, that's fine too. My phone number is with the Eclectic Reikiology Metaphysical Center here in Las Vegas. And it's really actually not very far from the Enchanted Forest, but yeah, my website is gaylakmalcolm.com. And I know that you can reach Robin through the Enchanted Forest, but I'm not sure if you have a website on your own. Do you?
I do have a website. I took it down. I'm working on it right now. Make some changes. Yeah, exciting things coming.
Yeah. So Enchanted Forest is where you want to reach her, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Enchanted Forest, Reiki.com. Under psychic mediums, actually under services, then psychic mediums, and then I'm in that list there, Robin Hunsberger. Also, if you stay tuned for Beyond the Veil 444, and Veil is spelled V-E-I-L, so beyondtheveil444.com. That is my website when it's back online. So just stay tuned and keep checking back for that. I'll be posting when it's live anyway. Also, I'm on social media as Beyond the Veil 444, and you can find me probably on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or Twitter, everywhere.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook also under Gayla K. Malcolm also. So yeah.
And YouTube too. All right,
and
Gayla.
You can find me through Eclectic Reikiology also. So this was so much fun. Thank you so much, Robin.
No, thank you.
It's a joy to talk to.
Thank you so much. Taking the time out to spend some time with me. I really do appreciate it, and our viewers will as well. So I'm looking forward to when I can see you again, hopefully soon, since I can also do my stuff over where you're at for classes.
Yay,
so
yes.
Maybe we can partner with something. That'll be fun.
It would be a blast. I think definitely.
All right, Gayla, thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Hugs.
Hugs, virtual hugs, and kisses. Bye.
Bye.